Okay, so let's talk about where it all begins, right? The first part of our triangle, gut mapping. So I'm choosing to start there because if the gut's not right, then you're not right, right? So I always say if the gut is not optimized to absorb and process everything that you're taking in to try and be as healthy as you possibly can, then all bets are off, right? You just have expensive poop and you probably are not going to benefit from anything you're doing from a dietary, vitamin supplement, or even medication standpoint if you're not absorbing correctly, right? So the first part of our triangle is our gut mapping, our GI map, which we love. It's super easy to do. You take this kit home. No, we do not want your poop. You take it home. And you poop into the hot dog box, as we say, which is actually kind of funny, but really super easy to do. And then it's very self-explanatory. You get all of your sample in here, and we send it off to a specialized lab to give you even like your own little FedEx thing. So we've done a ton of these in my house. We've done a ton of them with patients. It really is super easy to do. It's a one-time test. And you get a ton of great information. So it tells you everything in your gut, right? All your good bacteria, bad bacteria, digestive enzymes, immune health of the gut, everything. So what I was going to share with you today is my recent result. So this is an example of result. I didn't have to scratch out anything because it's mine. And so you can see it tells you all the scary stuff, right? Which is very uncommon to find that. That's not really what we're looking for. Obviously, if you had these things, you probably wouldn't be feeling good. But it's helpful. And remember, this is PCR or DNA testing. So it's literally going to show up anything that remotely is in your gut. So it doesn't have to have a ton of it in there for it to show up, but it's enough to be recognized on this specialized lab, and it's enough to be causing some dysfunction to some extent. So all the bad stuff, all the pathogens, parasitic pathogens, and viruses. Okay, so that's the first. It also is a wonderful test for H. pylori. H. pylori is a bacteria that can cause ulcers in our stomach. I have truly enjoyed being able to do this test and find H. pylori on it, because if all you did was traditionally diagnose H. pylori by all traditional means, that's all you would have, right? You would just have a positive or a negative on that one thing. The treatment by the book for H. pylori is a ton of antibiotics and antacids for a really long time. The problem with that is that it will cure the H. pylori, so your repeat test will be negative, but then you can imagine you would wipe out all of this other good stuff in your gut. So you almost fix one problem only to cause another, which I would argue is a big problem with the way we've done traditional medicine thus far. So I like that you can get the whole picture at one time and really know kind of the chicken and the egg, and be sure to treat the whole picture instead of just treating one part of it and fixing one thing but still having a lot of other problems, or creating, another problem even worse. So H. pylori is on here with all the virulence factors. Then you have your normal flora. So I have high amounts of phyla. My normal flora is okay. So that's, overall pretty good. And then we have opportunistic bacteria, so dysbiosis or overgrowth. That is really what we call leaky gut, or SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So the idea is that these are actual bacteria, part of your microbiome that should be there. It's just not in balance. It's overgrowing. And so you can see I have a couple of them. Strep is super common, especially if you are a mom and have kids coming home from school and stuff. But and I do have high levels of that. And then one of these autoimmune triggers, high levels of that. So you can see I have kind of a tendency to have this SIBO, leaky gut look here. So the question then is, where is that coming from, right? So we keep going. No yeast, so that's good. No viruses there. No parasites or worms, okay, protozoa, no, none of that. Digestion looks good. No blood or inflammation. But here we go, the answer is here. So we have anti-gliadin antibodies that are high. That is antibodies to gliadin, which is wheat. I have a son who definitely has those issues, so it's very genetic. It's not surprising. I would have told you that I was kind of gluten-free, but obviously not good enough. So that's, they're enough happening. I'm having enough dysfunction or hard time digesting the protein of wheat that it's causing issues, right, based on this test. And then along with that, there's a zonulin test, which we added because I know that I have leaky gut tendency. And so that is a protein that is released when you do have leaky gut. So those things go along with the idea of the SIBO, right? The opportunistic bacteria that we saw. So you can see how it's super helpful. You know, we really get rid of the gluten. I'll take supplements and things to help with leaky gut, do kind of a leaky gut protocol, things like glutamine, help those tight junctions in the gut. So leaky gut is literally where the gut is just leaky. The junctions of the gut to kind of maintain the absorption appropriately of what comes in and what goes out just doesn't work as well. Interestingly enough, when I exercise, sometimes I'll get belly aches and issues, and leaky gut is very common for that, because if you get overheated, then it makes this all worse. So for me, this makes total sense, and it's a very directed approach of what I can do to get the bad stuff out, heal the lining, stop taking in the things that are causing me problems, and then feel a lot better. Very simply, rather than kind of going in circles about, well, why some days does my belly feel bad and other days it doesn't, right? So that is my personal example of my first part of the triangle. And a test that I'm really super passionate about. I've come to love that test more and more as the years go by, because it really just gives us insight into overall health of the gut, and you could argue everything starts there, right? We get a ton of our happy hormone, serotonin, from our gut. We need our gut to absorb to even feed any of the other tissues in our body. We need it to metabolize our hormones. It's just so important, and I think it's a wonderful thing that research in this day and age, and we live in a day and age where people are really focusing on microbiome health, gut health. So I hope that was helpful, and I enjoyed sharing my own poop results with all of you. So anyway, we will do the next part of the triangle, which will be metabolic labs, on the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.